I have a little contest. If you could guess my favorite type of chips and you comment below, I'll give you a gift card of $100 to Peet's Coffee. Hey guys, I'm Wilson, and today I'm going to give you a mid of January market update. In the first graph, you'll see the list of sales price ratios. And from December to January, there's a slight increase, and that shows that we're in an improving market. Now, this graph doesn't show you actually how competitive it is in our marketplace, as we're seeing multiple offers across all well-priced listings at this time. Single family, condos, and townhomes. So if you're a buyer and you're considering buying, it's gonna get hotter as the summer months come and as we go through spring. If you're a seller and thinking about selling, this is an appropriate time to do so because you'll see in the inventory graph later on that we're seeing low inventory, lowest in the last 12 months. In the second graph, you'll see what comes up for sale in the marketplace versus what actually is sold. And you'll see a downward trend ever since September. And the interesting thing is, inventory has not picked up so far in January. January is matching or less than December's inventory, which is fueling a lot of this competitive situations, multiple offers, massive amount of touring. One additional thing to note about this graph is we're already past the halfway mark of January, and it looks like sales are slowing down as well. We're not going to hit the sales numbers that we did in December, but as much as we are not, as I've mentioned, what we're seeing out there is heavy foot traffic, heavy touring, offers, and so forth. Next, we're going to see months of inventory month by month. And what you'll see is, so far, the first month of the year, January 2021, in the last 12 months, this is the lowest we've seen in total inventory for months of inventory. Currently, it's right around 1.5 months of inventory. What we utilize to determine if it's a seller's market or a buyer's market that you might have heard us say before is if there's consecutively 2 months or more of inventory, that leans towards a buyer's market. If it's 2 months or less of inventory consecutively throughout the last couple months, that's an indication that it's more of a seller's market. And with less inventory or a lower number in terms of months of inventory, that means it's really competitive. In the next graph, you'll see sales prices throughout all of the county. And you'll see a downward trend ever since August 2020, where prices have been gradually going down from the summer market. But what you start to see so far this year in January is it's holding steady, and I think there's going to be a slight uptick by the time we finish the month. This is a time during the beginning of spring into the summer market where we see sales prices rise up, and usually on a yearly basis, because it's cyclical, it ends up being the highest around May, June, and July. Next, you will see interest rates for various products. The benchmark we've been using is the 30-year fixed rate jumbo loan, which is currently at 2.875. And that's been consistent for the past couple of months and past couple of weeks. And in the next graph, you'll see track showings through showing time throughout California. So far, the beginning of 2021, we're pacing slightly above for the amount of showings throughout compared to 2020 and 2019. Considering we're in shelter in place, this is a strong indication that a lot of people still want to look for that right home and have the ability to purchase it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be risking their health going out there and touring property. So this is our anticipation that with this data, we can tell that this year is going to be a relatively strong seller's market. Not suggesting that it's a bad time for buyers to buy, but if those buyers are looking to achieve a goal of finding the right home for an indefinite period of time to live in, this is the time that a lot of people are considering doing so. And just a fun fact, last year during COVID, condos and townhomes were selling at a much lower rate and percentage of the time compared to single family residences. So far, we've seen that inventory shrink because people are still making considerations to buy a condo and townhome if that's still what they qualify for. So we're starting to see more consumption, as I would say, of the inventory across the board for single family homes, condos, and townhomes. One interesting fact that we're seeing in the marketplace is buyers considering condos and townhomes, and of course, sellers moving away from condos and townhomes. You might not know, but condos, health, reserves, and budgets affect the desirability of the whole complex and ultimately that unit that's being sold or the unit that's being bought. One consistency that we're seeing is buyers are less aware of the health of it, and that's where we come in to do a deep dive into the disclosures. And we're seeing a lot of people move out of complexes that might have less healthy reserves, because what that means is there might be a future assessment. So if you're considering purchasing a home, if it's single family, that's a little more straightforward. But if it's a condo or townhome, please have a conversation with us, because we'll do a deep dive into the disclosures to give you information on exactly the health and the integrity of that complex.